3, 2, 1. Good morning or good evening, depending on when you are viewing this discussion. The first point I would like to emphasize is the definition of the term sect. According to Noah Webster's 1828 dictionary, a sect is defined as a body or number of persons united in tenets, chiefly in philosophy or religion, but constituting a distinct party by holding sentiments different from those of others. Most sects have originated from a particular individual who taught and propagated some unique notions of philosophy or religion and is considered to be its founder. Two examples of various faiths with many sects are Mormonism, which comprises approximately 1,000 various groups, of which I am a member of one of these churches, sects, and the other example is Methodism, which will be the focus of this discussion. Within the belief system of Methodism, there are tenets that include fundamentally erroneous doctrinal beliefs. For instance, the Shakers, who adopted more libertine views, such as not believing in certain saving ordinances such as baptism and promoting a distorted understanding of gender equality and the support of the immoral, sinful choice of homosexuality. In 1820, Reverend George Lane delivered a sermon titled, "Which Church Should I Join?" Unfortunately, that the actual sermon itself has been lost. But he delivered this sermon in the Burnout district of Upper New York. I believe that the young Joseph Smith Jr., at age 14, was in attendance before he sought God's guidance on this very question, seeking for a personal testimony in connection with God, which is an important aspect of Methodism faith in general, is this personal testimony in connection with God. As we examine the speech title posed by Lane, unfortunately, the speech has been lost. Oh wait, I just said that, sorry. I personally seek for fundamentally and sound doctrines within any faith and or church that I investigate for research. I'm a bit of a purist, but anyway. Particular faith or church. Methodism, which has traditionally championed education and peace, particularly through the Quaker sect, provides for a few doctrinally true beliefs. Additionally, the sermons of the great John Wesley and George Whitefield emphasize the principles of liberty, all of which Lane supported, having been converted by Reverend Francis Heron, who I know Reverend Francis Heron was a Presbyterian, but nonetheless, he was still George Lane was still converted to the gospel and then joined the Methodist sect. However, there was one doctrinal belief that tends to be overlooked by most: the recognition of and opposition to secretive societies, which, as God indicates, shortly after Cain killed his brother Abel, Satan was at the helm of, in which we can find in Genesis, which, as God indicates, shortly after Cain killed his brother Abel. Okay, at the annual Genesis conference near Niagara in Upper Canada, Lane successfully proposed that the Methodist churches investigate the encroachment of Freemasonry, which was a very big issue at the time during the founding era. Freemasonry, as well as the the anti-Freemasons, which were predominantly Baptist. Anyway, on July 20th, he, along with Abner Chase and Charles Giles, was elected to conduct this investigation of Methodism, of Masonic ideology seeping into Methodism. Despite facing significant harassment from the local Masonic lodge, as a result of Lane's findings, the conference prohibited any Methodist member or leader from joining the Masons, the Freemason, which led to circumstances within a short time period of members and leaders being excommunicated for the membership in Freemasonry.